Lie number 3. Extreme sacrifice is necessary. The FIRE community has convinced people that financial freedom requires living like you're broke for decades. They celebrate stories of families eating rice and beans every night, never going out, and turning their thermostats to uncomfortable levels to save a few dollars. Here's the truth. Extreme sacrifice doesn't just fail to work, it actively sabotages your financial goals. This live like you're broke mentality creates unsustainable habits that eventually backfire. When you deprive yourself of everything enjoyable for years, you're setting up for a massive spending rebound. It's exactly the same as crash dieting. The more extreme the restriction, the bigger the binge that follows. I've watched people follow extreme FIRE advice for 3 or 4 years, then completely abandon their financial goals because the lifestyle became unbearable. They go from saving 70% of their income to saving nothing at all. The pendulum swings from one extreme to the other, leaving them worse off than when they started. But the psychological damage runs deeper than spending rebounds. Extreme frugality creates anxiety around every financial decision. You start viewing normal expenses as failures. Going out to dinner with friends becomes a source of guilt instead of enjoyment. You're so focused on cutting costs that you forget money is supposed to improve your life, not control it. The opportunity costs of oversaving during your prime earning years are massive. Your 20s and 30s are when you should be investing in yourself, taking courses, building networks, developing skills that increase your earning potential. When you're obsessing over saving every penny, you miss opportunities that could multiply your income. Here's what the extreme sacrifice crowd doesn't want to admit. Spending money on the right things actually accelerates wealth building. Professional development, networking events, quality tools for your work, even strategic location moves. These investments in yourself generate returns that dwarf what you'd save by eating ramen every night. The social isolation that comes with extreme saving destroys relationships and career opportunities. When you can't afford to grab coffee with colleagues or attend industry events, you're cutting yourself off from the networks that create opportunities. Your social circle shrinks to other extreme savers, limiting your exposure to different perspectives and possibilities. Relationships suffer when one person becomes obsessed with extreme frugality. Partners feel controlled and resentful when every purchase becomes a negotiation. Kids grow up thinking money is scary and scarce instead of learning healthy financial habits. The stress of extreme budgeting creates more problems than the savings solve. Let me show you how extreme sacrifice actually slows wealth building. Say you save an extra $200 per month by cutting all entertainment and social spending. Over 10 years, that's $24,000 plus investment returns. But what if that social spending led to one job opportunity that increased your salary by $10,000 annually? You'd make more money in 3 years than a decade of extreme saving. This is exactly the same as a business that cuts all marketing to save money. Sure, expenses go down, but revenue disappears too. Personal finance works the same way. Some spending generates returns that make the cost irrelevant. The FIRE community promotes extreme sacrifice because it's easier to cut expenses than increase income. Telling people to live on beans and rice requires no skill or creativity. Teaching them to build valuable skills, negotiate better salaries, or create additional income streams is much harder work. But here's the real problem with extreme sacrifice. It treats money like it's finite instead of renewable. When you focus only on cutting costs, you're playing defense with your finances. You're trying to make a limited resource last longer instead of figuring out how to generate more of that resource. Balanced approaches to saving work better and last longer. Save aggressively on things that don't matter to you. Spend freely on things that do. Automate your savings so you don't have to think about every purchase. Focus on the big wins, housing, transportation, major reoccurring expenses, instead of micromanaging coffee purchases. The goal should be sustainable progress, not unsustainable extremes. Build systems that work when life gets complicated, when you're tired, when unexpected expenses arise. These systems create lasting change without requiring superhuman willpower or social isolation. Real financial success comes from increasing the gap between earning and spending, not just cutting spending to zero. This means developing skills, building relationships, and making strategic investments in your future earning potential. Even if you could sacrifice everything for financial freedom, the income promises that justify that sacrifice are questionable at best. Lie number 4. Passive income is easy and reliable. The biggest lie in the FIRE movement is that passive income will set you free. Every guru promises you can build income streams that require no work, no risk, and no ongoing attention. They make it sound like you just set up the system once and money flows in forever. Here's the reality. Truly passive income doesn't exist, and chasing it will waste years of your life. Let's start with real estate, the holy grail of passive income according to FIRE enthusiasts. They'll tell you to buy rental properties and collect checks every month while tenants pay your mortgage. Sounds great until you deal with midnight emergency calls about broken pipes, eviction proceedings that take months, and vacancy periods where you're covering the mortgage yourself. I know people who thought they were real estate investors but became accidental property managers instead. They spend weekends fixing toilets, evenings screening tenants, and vacation days in court dealing with problem renters. That's not passive income, that's a second job that happens to involve real estate. Even when you hire property management companies, you're still actively involved in major decisions, dealing with capital improvements and monitoring your investment performance. Plus, management fees eat into your returns, insurance costs keep rising, and property taxes never go down. Your passive real estate income requires constant attention and regular capital investment. Dividend investing gets promoted as another passive income solution. Buy dividend-paying stocks, reinvest the payments, and live off the income stream. But dividend payments aren't guaranteed. Companies cut or eliminate dividends during economic downturns. Your reliable income disappears exactly when you need it most. The math on dividend investing is also misleading. To generate $40,000 annually from dividends at a 4% yield, you need $1 million invested. But dividend-focused portfolios often underperform growth investments over time, meaning you're trading long-term wealth building for current income that isn't even guaranteed. Business income streams are probably the most oversold passive income myth. Online courses, affiliate marketing, drop shipping, the internet is full of people promising you can automate your way to financial freedom. They show screenshots of their earnings, but never mention the years of work it took to build those systems or the ongoing effort required to maintain them. Creating a successful online course means developing content, marketing to audiences, handling customer service, updating material as industries change, and competing with thousands of other course creators. That's not passive, that's entrepreneurship with recurring revenue, which is completely different. This is exactly the same as thinking a restaurant runs itself once you hire staff. The owner still needs to monitor quality, manage finances, handle supplier relationships, and solve problems when they arise. Passive income streams require the same ongoing attention as any other business.
The real path: financial control and resilience. Real financial security isn't about hitting magic numbers or retiring early. It's about building control and resilience that work in the actual world. Financial control means having options without requiring extreme sacrifice or perfect market timing. Resilience means your financial plan survives when life doesn't go according to plan. Financial control starts with emergency funds that cover real emergencies, not theoretical ones. 6 months of expenses sound standard, but make sure that calculation includes healthcare costs, car repairs, and family obligations. Your emergency fund should let you handle job loss, medical bills, or economic downturns without destroying your long-term financial goals. The second component of financial control is skill development that increases your earning potential regardless of economic conditions. This means building expertise that stays valuable across different industries and market cycles. Technical skills, communication abilities, problem-solving experience. These investments in yourself generate returns that compound over decades. Income diversification provides resilience without requiring you to become a passive income entrepreneur. This might mean freelance work in your spare time, consulting opportunities that use your professional expertise, or side projects that could eventually replace your primary income. The key is building these gradually while maintaining your main career focus. Financial resilience means your plan adapts to changing circumstances instead of breaking when assumptions prove wrong. This requires flexibility in your goals, diversification in your investments, and systems that work even when you're not paying attention. Automatic savings, broad market index funds, and insurance that actually covers your risks. The beauty of this approach is that it works at any income level. You don't need to save millions or retire early to achieve financial control and resilience. A teacher, nurse, or mechanic can build emergency funds, develop valuable skills, and create simple investment plans that provide real security. This path emphasizes progress over perfection and sustainability over speed. You're building systems that improve your financial position gradually, instead of gambling everything on extreme strategies that usually fail. It's less exciting than FIRE promises, but it actually works for people living in the real world. Financial control beats the freedom fantasy because it works in the real world, not just on spreadsheets. The FIRE movement sells you dreams that require perfect conditions and extreme sacrifice. Real financial security comes from building systems that adapt when life gets messy. Stop chasing magic numbers and start building resilience. Focus on emergency funds, skill development, and gradual progress instead of retirement fantasies that ignore reality. What matters more to you? Having options and reducing stress, or gambling everything on early retirement dreams? Drop a comment with your biggest financial priority right now. I'll respond to the most honest answers about what you're actually trying to achieve with your money.